Hey guys, today it is right in the early hours of Tuesday, March 10th, 2020. And as you can see here, this is a photo that the Calgary Stampeders have posted on their Twitter. And it's clearly a teaser photo for a new jersey they're going to wear this season. So I figured I'd put this little video together because, number one, this could be, I found this rather interesting. And number two, sadly, I have not gotten around to doing any CFL videos for far too long now, and I want to do one. Now, actually, truth is, I basically just wrapped up my mega rant video on that hideous new Rams logo that was leaked by sportslogos.net, so I thought I'd try and do something a little bit more optimistic, or something a little more positive. That's the proper word for it. Sorry, it's 2 a.m. as I'm filming this. I'm a little tired. But, yeah, so this is a teaser photo the Stampeders have posted. Now, this season, this upcoming 2020 CFL season, will be the Stampeders' 75th anniversary. So, this is their 75th anniversary logo, and you know what? Why don't I do you viewers a favor and give you a better shot of their anniversary logo. So, as you can see here, the only things about this logo, or sorry, how do I word it? Okay, the only black that appears on this anniversary logo is the outside border of it and the outline of the Stampeders logo. That's it. So notice that this logo is beveled with white and silver. So that tells me that there's a good chance that this is going to be a red and silver Stampeders throwback uniform for this coming season. So when I think of a 75th anniversary type of jersey, I'm thinking that the Stampeders are going to be giving us a long-awaited throwback uniform. It's been too long, Calgary. I don't know about you Stampeders fans and other CFL fans out there, but I am sick of the Stampeders being red and black. They should either be red and white in my opinion, or red, white, and silver. I don't even think they need black. Even though I think the Stampeders with a little bit of black on their uniforms or as part of their identity is not the end of the world. I mean, I do think their current third jersey they've had for a while, for basically the past 6 years now, I've never disliked it. I didn't even think the Outlaw helmet with the gradient on it was actually all that bad. I didn't mind it, to be honest. But, you know, I've wanted to see the Stamps bring out a throwback uniform for a long, long time. So when I look at that teaser photo, there's part of me thinking that I'm going to go out on a limb and say that in my personal opinion, this teaser photo that the Stampeders have put together is most likely a throwback. That's what it most likely is. So, I mean, with it being the 75th anniversary of the Calgary Stampeders, I'm thinking that I would be very surprised if the Calgary Stampeders did anything but a throwback. Now, I know I've seen online that some people have said, well, what if they're getting new uniforms? Well, when the Stampeders alongside the rest of the Canadian Football League switched over to the new era uniforms last season, since Adidas only lasted for a lousy 3 seasons in the Canadian Football League, when the Stampeders switched over to new era, what ended up happening is that they did make a small tweak. They did actually make a small tweak to their away uniform where they put the player names inside of the shoulder yoke. So I'm thinking that since I'm thinking about the video I actually coincidentally just filmed as I'm talking now. But seeing that the Stampeders did actually make a tweak to their uniforms last season, I would be absolutely shocked if the Stampeders are actually going all the way with new uniforms. I'm thinking that we could see this 70s throwback or something along the lines of this uniform here making a comeback. And personally, I'm all for it. And I have a feeling that this uniform will be extremely well received by fans if the Stamps do end up bringing it back. And looking at that solid red collar teaser photo, I actually would not be the least bit surprised if I'm going to end up being correct in saying that this is the uniform they're going to bring out of the vault to wear in order to commemorate their 75th anniversary this year in 2020. Now, until, of course, the Stampeders officially unveil it. Remember, I could be wrong, and until they unveil it, this is nothing more than a guess on my part. But with the Calgary Stampeders, they did make a couple of tweaks last season. Tweak number one that the Stampeders did is they did put the player names inside of the shoulder yoke. That was the big change that the Stamps made last season. Well, it wasn't that big. It really wasn't. The other change, though, is that for all three of their uniforms, including their third jersey, the Stampeders, alongside the rest of the entire Canadian Football League, all 9 teams last season were all given a choice of picking one helmet, and they had to keep that one helmet the entire season. So basically, unless things change this coming season, the Canadian Football League is basically sadly starting to adopt what the NFL has adopted for years now, and that's the one helmet rule. However, ironically, the one helmet rule may just be the best thing that's happened to the Calgary Stampeders uniforms in a long, long time. I mean, the one helmet rule that the CFL brought in last season was the best thing that has happened to the Stampeders since they won their last Grey Cup, which was not that long ago. But I'm just saying, that's a case of good irony, because that black helmet they were wearing with their away uniform for years was just stupid, and it looked bad. And I agree with everybody. They should always have red helmets. If they want to do something different for an alternate black uniform or a whatever alternate uniform, I'm all for it. I mean, even as I said earlier, that outlaw helmet, for being this new, crazy, ultra-modern helmet style with a gradient on it, with a matte black finish and chromed Stampeder logo decals on the helmet, I actually thought that alongside the rest of the uniform was actually not bad. The helmet worked. For an alternate uniform, I thought it was okay. For the opportunity of doing something new, I actually thought it wasn't all that bad. But do I think the red helmet looks better? Truth is, I do, and by a country mile. And it looks better than the outlaw helmet, and it certainly looks a zillion times better than that stupid black helmet that the Stampeders thought was just a great thing to wear with their away uniform. Still, I'm still baffled that the Stampeders went that long with a black helmet. I don't know why they didn't just listen to the fans and just constantly wear the red helmet all the time. But yeah, I mean, also there's something else I'm going to touch base on here too. Last season, I noticed that with the transition from Adidas to New Era was launching some retro merchandise, and I noticed that on the sidelines, the coaching staffs of different teams were all wearing throwback gear a lot of times. And by the end of this past season, in 2019, the Toronto Argonauts were wearing their old boat logo on their helmets instead of their regular A-Shield logo. I mean, personally, I'd love to see them go back to the boat. I think it's a great logo. That's a very, very well thought out logo. And I think it's rather underestimated and underappreciated. I've always felt it was a very clever, well put together logo. And after the Argonauts, for whatever inexcusable reason, as far as I'm concerned, that they made to completely ruin two of the absolute nicest uniforms I've seen in the CFL in a long time, with the switch over to New Era, the retro helmet logo decal, subbing out their regular primary A-Shield logo, was a nice breath of fresh air, considering the fact that, inexplicably, the Argonauts changed their uniforms. What the hell was up with that? So stupid. They look like some really bad college football uniform now, both their home and away uniforms. And that's not a compliment either. Stupid. Can't believe they did that. But anyways, folks, my point is this. With the different teams wearing throwback merchandise or throwback apparel on the sidelines during the latter half of last season, I'm actually keeping my fingers crossed that we could see some type of throwback week type revival in the Canadian Football League again. Or at the bare minimum, see teams like the Stampeders adding throwbacks. So considering that the Stamps did make a small change to their uniforms, to their away jersey last season, I'm going to go on a limb and say that this uniform that was teased today, or now yesterday, technically, as I'm filming this, now that they've teased this jersey, I'm thinking it's going to be a 75th anniversary throwback uniform, which for a team celebrating 75 years as a franchise, as far as I'm concerned, I can't wait, and I think the Stamps are making the right call. Now, if only we could see a team like the Eskimos do an 80s throwback, the Argonauts go back to actually having nice uniforms again, and I'd love to see the Red Blacks do a Rough Riders throwback uniform. That would be really, really cool. I mean, I still think the Red Blacks should switch to those uniforms with their new saw blade logo as the decal on the helmet instead of just the capital letter R. And I think it would work just fine. I mean, I still think that the Red Blacks should change their name and be the Ottawa Renegades again, but now that they've won a Grey Cup as the Red Blacks, I'm sure that's probably not going to happen. At this point, I'm going to make a confession, folks. I'm just glad that Ottawa's got a CFL team again. It sucks that they lost their team in the first place. But I figured I'd do this extra video to talk about that teaser pick because I feel like a CFL video on my channel here has been extremely overdue. I mean, even the Alouettes have totally redesigned their uniforms, and I haven't covered it yet. And I'm sorry about that, guys. I feel bad. But anyway, hopefully we're going to see some more CFL videos coming from me soon. That's right. I still got to talk about the New Era uniforms. Of course I do. I better get on that. And sorry for not doing it sooner. But anyways, guys, I figured I'd do this video. I figured after ranting about how awful that leaked Rams logo really is, okay, I'm biased. I mean, I figured I'd do something a little more positive and talk about a teaser pick from the Stampeders that, as far as I'm concerned, is most likely a throwback red and silver uniform. And I think most of us can agree that their throwback uniform, that red and silver throwback, the 70s uniforms, are far superior to what they've had since. And also another thing about the Stampeders teaser pic that they posted today on their Twitter, notice that the collar was red instead of the regular black collar that's on their home jersey. So if that isn't a sign of a different jersey, I don't know what is. I mean, of course, they posted a picture of the collar for a reason. They're getting you warmed up for a new jersey release, I guarantee it. So seeing that's the 75th anniversary and seeing that there was quite a bit of throwback apparel promoting going on in the latter half of last season, expect a throwback uniform from Calgary as far as I'm concerned. And I have a feeling they may not be the only team doing some type of throwback this year. But until anything's confirmed and also unveiled, time will tell. It that jersey teaser could even be a new home jersey. But since the Stamps did make a tweak to their away jersey to put the player names inside of the shoulder yoke, I'm going to go on a limb and say that they're not changing their main 3 uniforms, and instead they're going to add a throwback to celebrate 75 years. All the dots, all the stars align far too perfectly in terms of it being the 75th anniversary for that teaser pick to not be a soon-to-be unveiled throwback uniform of some kind. I actually think that looking at another tweet that they posted not too long after with an alumni player wearing an old 70s styled jersey, I'm thinking we're getting a 70s throwback from the Stamps this year, and honestly, I cannot wait to see it. Hopefully, the Stamps are going to go full-time retro, and I'm going on a limb and saying that the Calgary Flames are doing it next season. And I think, in my opinion, it's going to be the worst-kept secret in terms of NHL uniforms going into next season. But anyways, you guys, I'm going to call it a wrap on this video. I hope you have enjoyed it if you've watched it from start to finish. And as always, folks, until my next video, take care, and as usual, everyone, bye for now.